All right, everybody, welcome back to Fat Stacks, Season 2, Episode 2. Ready to rip it. Guys showed up. Guys viewed the video. We need to get more views next time, though. We need to get more likes, more views, more subscriptions. We're coming in hot. Boys, how we feeling?
Pretty solid.
It's good.
Fantastic, Tyler. Fantastic.
How are we feeling about this Kyrie going to Dallas and the Nets getting Spencer Dinwiddie and I don't even know who else? All right.
Nets won the trade.
Think so?
Oh, yeah.
I would agree.
So how do you think that dynamic of Luka and Kyrie is going to be?
You
They
got to have
both need the
at least
ball.
you got to have at least some big man focus, or someone that can score down low on your team, and they don't have that. And I don't know. It's going to be interesting sharing the ball with those two. That's for sure.
Yeah, I don't know. I Luka obviously needs the ball in your hand. That's your franchise piece. Kyrie needs the ball in his hand. I thought Dallas definitely lost this trade. If I had to give him like a grade, it'd be like a C minus, a C.
Slab.
I think that Spencer Dinwiddie's been playing fantastic this year. You give that up. You give up Dorian Finney-Smith, who can guard 1 through 5. I don't know really what Dallas was thinking here. I think Brooklyn got better. You put the ball in Kevin Durant's hands more often. The best scorer in the league, in my opinion. You get great defense for Dorian Finney-Smith. You get a good score with Spencer Dinwiddie. I think Nets got better, and they got 3 draft picks. So I don't know. I don't know really what Dallas was thinking. If I had to give Brooklyn a grade, I'd give them a B. Just a solid B. It really wasn't a good trade for either team, in my opinion. I mean, I guess Nets, you could give them a B plus for getting rid of Kyrie. So that's just where it's at. I think really no team got extremely better. Dallas got worse, and Brooklyn got a little bit. I just trade.
I was kind of surprised they were willing to give up Spencer Dinwiddie because I felt like he had to stay on that team. Like it's pretty much Spencer Dinwiddie, Christian Wood, and Luka Doncic, and you traded away one of those guys in order to get another one back. Like it was, and sure, Kyrie might be an improvement, but Spencer Dinwiddie is I don't know. I feel like he's a night in, night out guy. Everyone kind of likes him. I don't think, I mean, you're kind of bringing Kyrie in on this, and we'll see how Kyrie adjusts to the Dallas life and if he can, get his head screwed on straight.
Yeah, I got a bet it wasn't before the season. It was middle of the season when the Nets were doing pretty bad. Plus 1,400 to win the NBA championship. It's looking okay. All right, they're going to be in. They're going to be in the mix. I think they're going to be in the mix in the East. KD.
Yeah. If you remember in season 1 of the podcast, if that's what we're referring it to, me and Garrett had a bet about Brooklyn and the Toronto Raptors. So you want to talk about that, Garrett?
I don't remember what this was.
It was a $20 bet, if I do remember, about who would finish higher in the standings, who'd finish higher at the end of the season. And you had Toronto and I had Brooklyn. So I just want to refresh everyone's memory on that.
Well, you're looking pretty good right now. So
All right, let's flip over. Same sport, but we're going to college. It's our bread and butter. College basketball. Boys, we did hot. We are hot. Season 1 or season 2, episode 1. The Iowa State, Indiana, all of us are on the same page and ended up coming through big time. I mean, it was easy. I mean, what are we talking about here? I mean, Indiana, obviously are at home, but still taking care of business against the number 1 team in the country is nothing to be really disappointed in. I mean, they stormed the court even though they're ranked. We're not going to talk about that, but it's an in-state rivalry. I really do like storm the court on that. You know what I mean? In-state, just a little bit bad blood in there. Whether they're ranked or not, I think they stormed the court. And so but the Iowa State didn't really watch the game, but that came through Iowa State's. I think even though they're 13, I think they're an underrated team. People don't look at them too much because there's so much competition in the Big 12. But I don't think people look at them too much as a contender. They definitely are. They're up there with the big dogs, with Kansas and those type teams in the Big 12. Anything else that we have
Just the
last
the
weekend?
home court advantage of the Big 12 is huge. You really don't realize it until you like actually go and you know what I mean? Like, it's really huge. If you look at just like the games this year, just like look at home splits compared to road splits, like it's like 90% of the time the home team wins, whether it's a good team or a bad team.
Yeah, no, definitely. And so let's go into tomorrow's slate a little bit smaller slate, but it's a
I do have a comment on
all
storming
right.
the court, though. I mean, no, you're good. I mean, when you beat an in-state rival like that, and Purdue's number one, Indiana hadn't had a win over a number one ranked team in over 10 years. So when you do that this late in the season, it's crunch time, right? Bracketology. And this is a big deal, kind of like Tennessee beating Alabama in football. I mean, we stormed the field, it was crazy, but Alabama has been our daddy for 20 years. So when it's a rivalry like that, you finally get the big win. So I like it. And by the way, I mean, Zach Edey, what more can you say about the guy? 33 points, 8 rebounds. He almost out rebounded Indiana by himself. Indiana only had 22 rebounds on the entire game. Purdue had 38. So this whole thing, and we talked about it earlier about you don't need a big man to make a deep run and win a title anymore. I mean, it's showing true. I mean, the rebound margin stat is as dead as it can be here in 2023. I mean, getting out rebounded like that and still winning by 5 is just unbelievable.
I'm glad you brought up
I
the
told
Zach Edey thing because this game, in my opinion, solidified him to win National Player of the Year.
I think so.
He put that team on his absolute back. Like no one else performed at all for that team at all. Like turnover city, and that's why Indiana won. I mean, how many steals did they have that game? They had 11 steals. They got out rebounded by 16, but they got 11 steals. So I think Zach Edey, that game solidified him to win National Player of the Year. And I'm glad that you brought up the big factor, how bigs don't win national championships. I mean, this game showed you, like, it's just proofs in the pudding.
Hey, I mentioned it last podcast. Their guard play is very average at best. Let's just be honest. Lawyer's pretty good, but everybody else after that is pretty average. And you can't turn the ball over 16 times to expect to win a game. So yeah, it didn't really surprise me the outcome of that game.
Well, I mean, we were all on Indiana. I still think Purdue's
Yep.
a good team and can make a deep run. But like you said, I mean, you take away Lawyer and Edey, Purdue didn't have anyone that scored over 6 points besides those two. I mean, you got to have, if you're the
Yep.
number one team in the nation, you got to have other guys stepping up, and they just didn't have that.
And this is maybe a hot take, bold take, but I'm gonna stick by it. I think if I'll be very surprised if Purdue makes it past the Sweet 16. I think the best they could do is Elite Eight. I mean, I'm just being for real about it. Like, I think how are you going to do? How are these guards are very inconsistent. I mean, they're like Garrett said, they're very average, they're very inconsistent. You have a game, you go to the Sweet 16. Once you get to the Sweet 16, unless there's like a Cinderella team, you're not facing bad teams anymore. You know what I mean?
Well,
And so you turn the ball over that much, it's going to be a problem, a big problem.
also another thing to consider is, I mean, Edey played 32 minutes in this game, which is pretty high for him. He doesn't, I mean, normally he's probably around that 26 to 28-minute range because they like to give him a lot of breaks. But one thing to consider is, if you get in the tournament, big men get in foul trouble a lot more in the tournament than they do in the regular season. We've all seen this. Big Ten play, especially, like they let them play in the Big Ten. So you doing that kind of hurt. I mean, if he gets in foul trouble the first half of one game, I mean, you're in trouble. Like you might get behind and not have a chance of coming back unless the lawyer just somehow wills you to a close game the rest of the way for him to get back in the game. But I just don't like I don't like the two-dimensional. I mean, they only have two guys that can really score the ball, and that's about it on offense.
Yeah, and how bracketology is set up right now, they get past. I mean, say they're a 1 seed. Okay, they play some scrub playing game. Okay, they win that game. They play 8-9 right now. They have NC State and Boise State, two scrappy teams. All right, so they might lose that game.
I think NC State right now.
Yeah, and then you move on to the next one. You got UConn and TCU. Okay, so I think if you bet upsets over guaranteed winners based on seeding, you'd win more games than if you bet the favorites this year in March Madness. I think it's just going to be even crazier than last year.
I think once you get higher seedings, like when it's like 1 to 16, I think you take the 1. But like then when you get to like a 1-9 or a 1-8, I think it's a little bit more. I think it's closer in competition than it has been in a long time.
Oh
like,
yeah.
Like a Purdue versus NC State, or Purdue versus Boise State, or even a Purdue versus like TCU. Like I think they have trouble. Like anyway, but let's get to the tomorrow slate. ACC matchup: Duke coming off a big rivalry win against North Carolina. And Duke's at Miami. Miami, I'm just looking I'm not on a sports book. I'm just looking at this. They're Miami's favored by 3.5. I'm gonna start us off. I really like Duke in this spot to cover the 3.5. Kind of riding the momentum. I know it's on the road, but riding this momentum a little bit. John Shire's got the guys rolling. And so I like Duke in this spot plus 3.5. Garrett, you can go ahead.
Yeah, I would agree. I'm not that big on Miami in the first place. I just don't. Isaiah Wong just doesn't appeal to me, and it's a guard play. And I think Kyle Filipowski's gonna have a huge game in this one. So him and Jeremy Roach's leadership, I think this Duke team is just getting better as the season progresses.
Yep.
So obviously you got a lot of freshmen, but Jeremy Roach setting the tone, and Filipowski having a big day would win them this game, I think.
Yeah, Aaron.
Yeah, I don't know. Miami, they're so balanced in scoring. I think that if someone has an off night, someone can step up. And I know Fisher's gonna say you're gonna say Duke.
I would lean Duke. I don't know if I'm gonna play it.
Because just for the program, I'll take Miami at home. I'll take minus 3.5.
It's a system.
Huh?
It's a system play. You don't bet against conference teams at home. It's a system play.
I know, but I'm doing it for the program, for the Fast Stacks program, because everyone else is on the Duke train. So I'll take Miami minus 3.5. I'll put a unit on there. I really like how Isaiah Wong plays. He's a little crafty guard. I just think the guard play is going to show up tomorrow against Duke. So I'll take minus 3.5.
And I think we all might have leaned Clemson on Saturday, and Miami ended up winning that game by 4 on the road. So we will have to give them their dues there.
No, I agree. We're going to the Big 12, and this is going to be Texas at Kansas, big matchup, 8 versus 10 right now. And but it looks like the line just changed to Kansas -4. Kansas -4. Fisher, you're going to take us away on that one.
Yeah, look, Kansas is in a spot that they're not used to. They're looking up in the conference. They're not in first. They're not in second. They're in a 4-way tie for third right now. Off the rip, I think it was Texas.
Real quick,
Texas.
That's the 5th best team in the country right there. That's tied for 4th in their conference.
Sorry, Gary. It's all love, buddy. But look, yeah, I mean they're tied with Kansas State, Baylor, and TCU, and then right behind them, you got Oklahoma State in 7th in the conference. So they had a big win on Saturday. Number 8, you got West Virginia. They had a 32-point win against Oklahoma on Saturday. Like there's 8, possibly 8 tournament teams there. So Big 12, really fun. But without looking too much at this game, I do like Kansas to bounce back at home. Only 4-point favorites. I will take the points there.
Aaron?
I agree. 11-1 at home. A Bill Self coach team. I mean, at home, that's tough. Texas is only, if I'm reading this right, they're only 4-2 away. They've only played 6 away games.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yes.
So I'm taking Kansas. I'll take Kansas spread all night long. They're gonna have a nice bounce back game. It's Kansas.
They the fun fact, Texas played their first 12 games at home. Don't know how that happens.
Crazy.
But I'm sure there was probably 2 or 3 neutral site games.
Yeah.
But
2-5 on the road.
yeah, I don't know. I think the Jayhawks at home. You don't normally see a Kansas team minus 3.5 at home against anybody. Normally they're 5.5. Like against let's see who they play last time at home. Versus Kansas State, they were minus 8.5 at home, and they covered that. Yeah, I mean, or was it 9.5? It was 9.5, wasn't it, Tyler?
Yeah, it's 9.5. Guys, I'm gonna this is for the program. I'm gonna pick Texas with the points. Texas is fighting for that Big 12 win. So is Kansas though. But I think it's a really close game. Really, really close game at Kansas. I think they cover. I think the number is only going to go up. I think it's at 4 now. It went from 3.5 to 4. It looks like on the Barstool Sportsbook, but I think that the number will just keep going up. I would wait to the very last minute to bet this because I think it's going to be maybe 5, 6 when it gets there.
Well, one thing to also take into consideration, so Kansas plays Texas tomorrow. If Kansas wins, they will go to 7-4. Texas will go to 8-3. Iowa State will be 7-3. Kansas State 6-4. So you have like all 4 of those teams within a game.
I think it's just so big. I think they'll be.
Yeah.
I mean, both teams will be up for the game, and
Yeah.
and so I just think it's going to be like 1 to 2 point game. Either way, I think it's going to be a really really close game. So that's why I'm taking the points. I think they're begging you to take Kansas at home. That's the way the number sees to me.
The interesting part about this is I'm kind of surprised because obviously coming into this year, Texas and Kansas were the top 2 teams everyone looked at in this conference. How late the Texas plays Kansas at home, and then the last game of this season for both teams is at Texas. So Kansas at Texas. I bet that'll be a big game. That might be the championship, the Big 12 outright regular season winner in that one.
No, I agree. Go ahead.
The last time Kansas has dropped 4 out of 5 conference games. Can anyone guess the year? 1988. We were all
second.
1988. I mean, it's been forever, and I don't think. I just think they get off this train pretty quickly. I mean, very good coach, a lot of talent. A lot of these games have been close. I'm going to take Kansas. I get what you're saying, Tyler. I think they are begging you to take them. But I think this is so good of a team. They're always lights out at home. I'm going to take them in this spot.
Number 5 team in the country. But Tuesday's slate. We're going to go to Tuesday's slate. All right. Big 10 matchup. I think it's a closer matchup than what you would see on paper. Rutgers at Indiana. I don't know the line. I don't know what it's going to be. I think there might be a little overreaction on Indiana, maybe make them a little more favorites than they are supposed to be here. Give me Rutgers on the road with the points, plus the points probably. Garrett.
Tim mentioned this earlier. Rutgers 2-4. Obviously, this was the Texas, but this is Rutgers 2-4 on the road. They haven't played very many away games, and they have not fared well in those. However, they have kept it pretty close. They kept it close at Ohio State with a 1 point, and against Iowa they lost by about 10. But like Michigan State and Iowa, the second time they haven't played too well. Anyways, I'm probably gonna take if it's like I'll take Indiana up to like 6.5 points. I think that would be my line to put at. But if it gets above that, like if it gets to like 8.5, 9.5, I'll probably lean Rutgers.
Yeah, I'm gonna take Indiana 11-1 at home. Like Garrett said, Rutgers 2-4 on the road. I mean, they've only played 6 games. Trace Jackson Davis loves playing at home. I mean, he's 19, 11, and 4 with 2 blocks at home. So he's. I think he's gonna keep going forward, and he's another player who's up for National Player of the Year debate. Him, Jalen Wilson, and Edey, I think, are the top. There's a few more you can throw in there, but I think those three are standout. I understand we have two Big Tens in there, but Big Ten, I mean, that's the second best conference in the nation, in my opinion. Big 12's one, and Big 10's two. So I'm going right now, Indiana. I'll take points, whatever they have. I think I think this is a team that can make a run at it. I don't know if they'll win it all, but I think they can make a run. I like Mike Woodson and what he's doing with the team, so I'll take Indiana points at home.
You guys keep saying they've only played 6 road games, but every Power 5 team has only played 6 or 7 road games up to this point. I mean, you don't know the schedule. December, you're playing home games. You've got some neutral site games. Maybe you go to the Bahamas. Maybe you do go to the Big 12 and play one away game before conference play. But I wouldn't read too much into that. I do like Rutgers here. I'm with Tyler. It's a scrappy team. We saw them get on a run last year where they've won 5 or 6 games in a row against ranked opponents. Had a big win against Michigan State yesterday, and Indiana, maybe a letdown spot here, but I will say, going back to Trace Jackson Davis, I was looking at that stat line. He had 5 blocks yesterday, and those weren't just little deflections. Those were big man blocks. So he was awesome. That was just an awesome game to watch. I do think the line will get close to 10 here because Indiana's pretty hyped right now. And
10?
I think it could move close to 10.
I think at close, I think it'd be like 8.5.
Yeah, 8.5, 9.5. So that's why I really like Rutgers here.
I think there's going to be a big overreaction of Indiana being the 1 seed and saying that maybe overhyping them better than they actually are. And I think Rutgers is a good enough team to keep it within the number. If it's anywhere from 6 to 10, I'll take Rutgers 100%.
So Clifford Omarui is going to walk into Assembly Hall and show Indiana, hey.
I'm not saying they're going to win. I'm saying they're going to cover the 6 to 10.
But yeah, I know. But still, I think Indiana's going to keep this hot streak going.
I feel like we would have a different conversation if I was like Rutgers money line. But losing by 10 points, I think that's pretty fair. I feel like they're good enough to at least lose by 10.
I don't think it's going to be 10. I think it'll be 7.5. That's my guess.
I'll take it there too.
I won't take it there.
All right, moving to the Big East. Marquette at UConn. Fish, go ahead and take us away.
I got nothing on this game. But did UConn win yesterday? Are they still hot?
Barely. They're not hot by any means, but barely.
They barely beat Georgetown.
Yeah. They're struggling.
Patrick out of there next year.
Yeah.
Patrick Ewing should be out there by next year.
He should have been out last year.
Should have been out 2 years ago.
3 years ago.
Well, he did win the Big 12. He did win the Big East tournament one of those years.
He won the tournament. He ran the table a few years ago, didn't he?
Yeah. I think that was the year after COVID. He ran the table.
Honestly, I got nothing. But I will say UConn women, they did get beat by who beat them? Was it South Carolina? I don't know. It was a big deal.
Good, man.
I know, but still, you beat UConn women. I mean, that's a big deal.
South Carolina's ranked 1, right?
Yeah, they are.
That's the new powerhouse right there.
Give me Coach Mulkey from LSU.
Oh gosh.
Mulkey?
She gets the locker room fired up.
She about punched that ref that one time. You remember that?
I know. She gets the locker room fired up. I saw a thing in Fisher. You'll like this. It said Pat Summitt walked so Mulkey could run. I mean,
saw that too.
I freaking love that. Get us a whole episode talking about Pat Summitt. I'll get the locker room fired up. She gets me fired up. That little Pat Summitt. That little whatever that 30 for 30 or it's not 30 for 30, but it's like a little dock on her. Oh my! I'm about to run through a brick wall right now.
Changed the game for women. I mean, it's just amazing, just the dynasty they had. I mean, you go to Thompson Bowling Arena and you look up in the rafters. Women's national champion, women's won the Elite 8 appearance. Man, the women rule Knoxville. I'm telling you.
Yeah. Anyway, Aaron, go ahead. Big East matchup. Big East matchup. Go ahead.
So coming into the year and like early on, I was huge on UConn, huge. But they have been sliding a little bit. Like, I mean, Seton Hall, what's his face is there now?
Holloway, Shaheen Holloway.
Yeah. So he obviously Holloway. He outcoached what's his face Hurley. I like how this team's put together, but I'm not a big fan of Hurley. You know, he's not a really good in-game coach, in my opinion. He can get the locker room fired up too, but man, alive, he's getting this team's not looking very good. They are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 losses in their last 10 games. So 4 and 6 coming down the stretch, and they got some tough games coming up with Marquette, Creighton, Seton Hall, Providence. So this team might slide a little bit more. I might take Marquette in this, whatever the money's on, or not money, points are on.
This game's a pick 'em, if you ask me. UConn's at home. Marquette's a better team, has a better coach, Shaka Smart. Whoever has the whoever's plus money, I'm taking. Like I think that's the go-to in this one because I think this is honestly 50-50. I would lean Marquette probably to win it, but it's going to be close just because obviously you're at UConn. So I don't know. I'm going to play that as a pick 'em.
Yeah, I'm not too confident on any side, but I'm leaning Marquette right now.
Give me Connecticut at home. And let me tell you something. I'm not proud of this, but I love me some Shaheen Holloway. Probably the best coach I've ever seen in person, in game. I bet Seton Hall like 5 months ago to make the Final Four.
Oh my!
Yeah, I don't even know if they'll make the tournament. They probably will. They probably will.
They beat UConn.
Dude, give me some Shaheen Holloway. He gets in the tournament. Watch him make a run real quick.
Seton Hall's on the bubble. They're next 4 out.
No, we're in. They're getting in. Shaheen Holloway.
Time I bet UConn it'll be Paige Becker's National Player of the Year 2024.
Love that. I love that.
Is she a senior yet? I feel like she's been there for 12 years.
I thought she was like a junior. She's out for a year.
She's out. Tore ACL or something.
That's right. And then COVID year, you can add that on too.
Yeah.
So she'll be like a Fulkerson from Tennessee who'll play there for 8 years and sell car insurance around the local area.
Basically, Perry Ellis.
Dude, I don't want to hear any disrespect on Fulkerson's name again. I fist bumped him. There's some good energy coming from that guy. Some good energy. Anytime you say crap on any Tennessee player, I'm just going to say I fist bumped him and they had good energy. All right.
Hey, this is for Jacob. Grant Williams is a scrub. All right. He's a scrub, man. He's not going to get paid next year. He's going to be a free agent, come back to Tennessee, be on the coaching staff.
Yeah. Oh, come on.
I'm just kidding.
All right. Let's go real quick. That we're not going to talk about it very much. All right. I might, but you guys might, but I'm not. NC State at Virginia. ACC game. Give me NC State plus the points. Go ahead, Garrett.
Let me pull this up. I'm pulling it up. Because it's not in my top 25. Is it at Virginia?
Yeah.
Oh, it is in my top 25. What am I looking at? I kind of like. I think you're going to see this line come in at NC State like plus 7.5, and I will be taking NC State plus 7.5 all day in this one. Virginia is not the type of team to just absolutely go in and just blow somebody out. The only really teams that they've blown out this year are Monmouth, which was like 3-20 last I checked, and Maryland Eastern, which is almost worse than Monmouth. Everybody else they played within about at least 10 to 15 points. I think NC State will come in and play this one pretty close.
Well, talk about another 15-year player. What's his name? Clark?
Kihei?
Yeah, he's been there for how many years? 6?
It seems like it.
I don't have much on this game. I like Virginia. I like what's his face? What's his name?
The first name's Tony, I think, isn't it?
Tony
Tony Bennett.
Bennett. Yes, Tony Bennett. Just a great coach. Virginia at home's always tough. NC State's really good this year. I really don't have anything for this game. It's just going to be a good game to watch. Is NC State not ranked?
No, not yet.
Hey, give me the home team.
Come out tonight.
Bounce back spot, man. They got beat by Virginia Tech, and they were pretty cold. I mean, 40% from the field. Their guys didn't show up to play. So, if 7.5 points is the line, I think Virginia's to play.
See, this is the problem with this Virginia team. They're not shooters. They don't put up. Like let's see what their average points per game is. They're like a 70. Like they're very average at best. Like this NC State team can score the ball. They're averaging 80 points a game. So I think it's going to be obviously it's going to be who dictates the tempo, but I like NC State to get this Virginia team running and see how Kihei Clark and the rest of those Virginia guys go.
Yeah. All right. Last game, maybe we'll talk about. I have a few other games that we'll talk about, but this is the last big game that we're going to talk about. Number 15 TCU on the road against number 7 Kansas State. But I know Garrett just said something about Big 12 home teams taking care of business, but I think TCU is a very good basketball team. I think TCU could win the national championship. I think TCU is that good. I do. And so their defensive rating, they're 20th in the country. And then defense travels, taking care of business, TCU plus the points probably.
Quick question. And this is something I don't even know, which surprises me, but is Miles playing? I don't think Miles is playing. He hasn't.
Is the guy who killed that person?
What? No.
No, that's Darius.
I'm telling you, if he does not play, I will 100% be taking Kansas State.
No, he's not playing.
As long as it's not over like 6.5, 7 points. If Miles is not playing this TCU,
yeah, he's already out. I think.
Yeah,
if he's out, then I'm taking.
I was going to take TCU anyway.
Yeah, I'm taking TCU anyway.
Lampkin's still out too.
You're taking TCU without Lampkin and without Miles?
Your dogs.
Yeah, I am.
You just lost to Oklahoma State and you just lost to Mississippi State, and you're still taking them with those two guys out also.
Me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Goodness gracious.
Oklahoma State is a good conference team, and Mississippi State is not a bad SEC team.
Yeah,
I'm not going to disagree. Oklahoma State.
Kansas State.
I'm not going to disagree. Oklahoma State's not a bad team.
The line is, and
it just depends on what the line is. If the line is outrageous, I'll take Kansas State. I'll let you guys know. Right now, I'm leaning TCU.
I would take TCU if it was like 10, but if it's under 5, if it's under 6, I'm probably taking Kansas State.
Right now, my lean would be TCU.
How long are
to win it?
Empkin out for?
No, to cover.
Okay.
I don't know.
Guys, listen to these next few games. At Kansas State versus Baylor, at Iowa State versus Oklahoma State versus Kansas, at Texas Tech versus Texas, and finish at Oklahoma. That is a tough stretch.
That's what all of those Big 12 teams are like.
Yeah, I know, but I'm saying without those two guys, they might fall bad.
Yeah, I know. I agree, but I'm just saying for them to cover. I'm leaning for them to cover this game. I'll probably wake up tomorrow. I'll probably wake up on Tuesday and see the line and say, "Okay, I'm taking Kansas State."
Well, we'll see. We'll see. I would be surprised if this line comes out as high as you think it's going to.
All right. Anybody else got anything on this game? I didn't talk to you guys about this, but we're going to talk about a game that I missed. Maryland at Michigan State. That's an interesting game to me. Big Ten game. I know Michigan State's not very great in the conference rankings. But Michigan State's a pretty solid basketball team. And I think that even though they're still a pretty solid basketball team, I think Maryland comes in there, take care of some business, and cover the spread, whatever happens. Anything else on that, boys? I'm sorry, I know I kind of put it on you, but
Uh, the crazy part is that I really liked Maryland at the start of this year, and then it got to the point where I bet them whenever they went on the stretch of Wisconsin, and then they were uh and then they were at home against Tennessee, and it was like a pickup game, and they were like just under, so it was like plus 1.5, and then UCLA they were like plus 8.5 in a stretch, and I bet them 3 straight games, and they lost and didn't cover any of those. So I don't know. I don't really think I can bet Maryland ever again. So I think I will probably be taking Michigan State.
Yeah, I blame Michigan State too. 12 or 9-2 at home. You got Tom Izzo as your coach still. Maryland's 2-5 away.
Izzo's maybe the most overrated coach ever.
That's a pretty hot take.
I mean, tell me his track record other than 2000 national championship.
I mean, he's always consistent. Every team he's coached has always been talked about as one of the top teams in the nation.
Yeah, this one's really top. I agree with you there. The last 5 years they've been top team in the nation too.
Okay, but we're talking about right now. You just said it's an interesting game, and they don't have
because the Big Ten they just beat each other up. I think it's an interesting game that way. But I think Tom Izzo is talked about as like one of these all-time great coaches when he has one national championship.
I didn't say he's all-time great coach.
I feel like I'm not saying you. I'm saying I think just everybody. I feel like he's in that group of like all-time greats, and he's not.
Who'd you put above him?
I think Coach K.
I mean, like, obviously Coach K. I mean, like someone who like shouldn't or is like right there neck and neck with him. Would you put Bill Self over him? Yes.
I would put Jay Wright over him. I would even put Tony Bennett over him.
Tony Bennett. Okay. Would you put let's see, what's another good one?
I would even put maybe
Matt Painter. Would you put Matt Painter over him?
No.
Would you put
Rick Barnes?
Patino, yes.
Rick Barnes, Slick Rick.
Yes.
Rick Barnes over Tom Izzo?
Because I fist bumped him.
Okay. All right.
Any Tennessee story from 2022 will lead back to, I fist bumped them.
Golly.
I would say, a good comparison to me, and a good comparison, and this is a conversation, and you're wearing the hat right now. I think a close neck and neck race would be Jim Boeheim.
Oh my!
I'm serious.
You're putting Tom Izzo and Jim Boeheim in the same sentence.
They both have the same national championship.
I would agree.
I'd say they are probably close in Final Four appearances.
Yeah, I would probably give Tom Izzo the nod just because Jim Boeheim only knows how to run 2-3 zone.
Well, all right, we're getting off track here, guys. Let's talk about one more game. All right, one more. That's it. One last game. Arkansas going to Lexington, Kentucky. The Must Bus travels through. They're covering the spread. I don't care what anybody says.
Yeah, I will never bet Kentucky again this year.
John Calipari is the worst in-game coach ever to coach college basketball.
Yep, I would not disagree with that statement.
Would you put John Calipari above Jim Boeheim?
No.
Jim Boeheim's 5-1 against Tom Izzo in his career.
That's tough. So Jim Boeheim beats Tom Izzo. I mean, Tom, again, my point. Fisher, go ahead about the Must Bus. I know you love them.
I didn't have much. I said Kentucky. I did bet Kentucky on Saturday, -4.5. They did pull it out. 2 clutch free throws down the stretch to beat Florida. But I was going to say something on Gonzaga, too, because we didn't talk about Gonzaga. There were 6 first-ranked games on Saturday, which was like the most ever in the AP era. So, huge Saturday. Gonzaga against St. Mary's. I was on Gonzaga Thursday and Saturday. They covered Thursday, got beat Saturday. But I still think the Zags can make a deep run, not win it all, but they can make a deep run in the tournament. Look, they still return over 2/3 of their minutes and their scoring from last year. Obviously, they don't have Chet Holmgren. There's another guy who went to the NBA. Can't remember his name. They've still got some decent
Tim
players.
Hard.
Yes, Drew Timmy is still freaking awesome. I mean, he did his part, 23 points. I mean, he's almost like a walking double-double. And I know you guys hate him, but he is an awesome villain. He is an awesome villain in college basketball right now. And,
Why do you think why do you think everyone looks at him as a villain?
Because no one likes him.
Because
I mean, why?
Because people are tired of Gonzaga and they're tired of the narrative. And I think people are exhausted with the fact that Gonzaga is hyped every year and they play crummy teams.
Good answer.
And
Good.
they get to the March Madness and then they lose early. And I think a lot of people lose money. I think a lot of people lose money on them.
Listen, I'll never bet Gonzaga ever again. I'll never, ever pick them in my bracket ever. Like I got screwed so bad one year because I put them in like the Elite Eight or like the Final Four, and they lost in like the round of 32. I mean, it is, and then what really fires me up, the one year they do make the national championship and they get freaking blown out by 20 to Baylor. I got freaking Drew Timmy on my freaking TV screen when he's down by 20 going like this. Like, quit. Dude, that freaking fired me up. I'm like, Baylor's smoking you, and you're freaking doing a sky hook, and you freaking give me a mustache. Quit.
But Gonzaga, so they were number 12. They're going to drop to maybe 16th. They could come in as a 4 or a 5 seed in this tournament and still be dangerous for a few games. I know people are exhausted with the narrative. I know Tyler's tired of Gonzaga. That's fine, but
join the Pac-12. Like, what are we doing? There's 2 teams leaving the Pac-12. Join the Pac-12. Get a freaking football team and join the Pac-12 one time.
It affects the other sports. That's the problem.
It's right in your freaking backyard. If you want to, if Mark Few's tired of freaking hearing people like crap on Gonzaga, maybe you should put the freaking flash down and join the Pac-12. It's right in your backyard. That's all I got to say to Gonzaga administration and Mark Few. Join the Pac-12. I'm tired of it.
Would you put Mark Few above Tom Izzo?
No, I wouldn't have Mark Few in my top 100 coaches ever in the NCAA.
Okay. If I had to get one coach to drive the team bus for a few brewskis, it'd be Mark Few.
I think Mark Few. I think I would take Coach K's grandson with Paulo Banchero.
All right. We're way too deep on that.
Anything else on college basketball? Mark Few.
Yeah, you want me to tell my pick for tomorrow that's a lock?
Yeah.
Weber State at Northern Colorado. Weber State money line, maybe it's minus 108 right now.
Love it.
They are clearly the better team. This Northern Colorado team is not good. They are not good at all.
It's in the crumbs, baby.
Money's in the crumbs.
In the crumbs.
Weber State.
If I were you, I'd take it right now because I think you're going to see Weber State be like minus 2.5, minus 3.5 tomorrow.
If I had to pick one, I'd probably pick Duke plus the whatever it was on the road against
plus 3.5.
Plus 3.5. I love that.
I'm taking Southern minus 6 against Alabama State.
That's my second one. I like that one, Tim.
I love that.
I don't have one yet. It'll be on the Twitter tomorrow. But I will say, talking about the crumbs, the Missouri Valley Conference, before Saturday, there was a 4-way tie for first place and a 4-way tie for 5th place. So 8 teams were within a game of each other in the Missouri Valley Conference at 9-4, 8-5. I mean, you got Murray State's the new addition, but you got Missouri State, you got Southern Illinois, you got Drake. I mean, there's some decent Midwestern, small schools. It's going to make for a really, really fun March Madness. Some of these small conferences.
And it's awesome because like every conference is like that. You know what I mean? Like everyone's so close, and I think that this March Madness might be like the craziest March Madness we've ever seen.
Not even just the double NCAA tournament. I'm talking about I tell you what, this is maybe a hot take. I almost love the conference tournaments more than I do the actual like NCAA tournament. And I love the NCAA tournament, but the conference tournaments are go crazy. Seriously.
I do very much enjoy the conference tournaments, especially like the crumb ones. I
Like,
love
think
watching
about
like
like the
Grambling
NCAA
State play.
tournament. Like the NCAA tournament, you have 4 games on at one time. The conference tournament, you literally could have like 15 games.
Yep.
I mean, you can't watch them all unless you have 15 screens, but like you can watch like, 5, 10 games at a time if you go to like a sports bar or you have just that at your house. Like I mean, it's just all wall to wall basketball and there's no break, and I love it.
Are we
Hey,
having a Fat Stacks March Madness thing this year?
Oh yeah, we will.
Yeah, bracket challenge, yeah.
Okay.
Hey, Pimp, just to add to yours, I will probably do this parlay tomorrow. I right now I have 3 teams in it. It was the 2 we already mentioned, Pimp having Southern, me having Weber State,
You
and
like Grambling?
Grambling was my third one. That was my third one.
Here we
I
go.
love all
Here we
3 of
go.
those tomorrow, man.
Fat Stacks parlay, Duke, Weber State, Grand.
No, not
I don't know
Duke.
if I'm throwing Duke in mine.
All right, guys. Anything else on college basketball?
Where's Bronny gonna end up going?
Ohio State.
I think it's between that and USC, and somehow
I
he
think-
still has an
I think
Oregon
you-
there too. I don't know how Oregon's in his top 3, but who knows?
USC or UCLA. I think one of those two.
I think he's going to
UCLA's
Ohio.
out.
Oh, he said no. The
It's
UCLA.
USC, Oregon, or Ohio State is what it was narrowed down to like 2 days ago.
Okay, well, it's not Oregon, so it has to be
No.
one of the other two. I don't know why Oregon's
I
even.
think it's Ohio State. 100%. Guys, see you guys later. Always bet responsibly. Oh, no. Always bet
Start
responsibly.
over. Start over. End it better. You can't
Let's
just
start
say
the whole. Let's start the whole thing over.
Yeah,
guys,
from the top.
Justin Fields is the answer. Always bet responsibly.
Okay, now we got to start it over.